Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and Cossacks 3, where we will be reviewing a game that I played this weekend, actually. And I'm sorry beforehand if my voice is a bit weird and if I might be sniveling a bit. I've been fighting the good old-fashioned man cold, but I couldn't put this video off any longer because I've been so excited to record it. Basically, this is a game that me and my main mentor, Milkman, yes, that's an alliteration, played together this last weekend. And it was a 3 versus 3 amazing game, and a giant thank you to Milkman for agreeing to to play with me. He's been mentoring me quite a lot, giving me so many good tips and tricks on everything from basically like resource management, build order, and a lot of just basic tips on gameplay of Cossacks in general. So a giant thank you to Milkman for the tips and coaching, of course, but also for agreeing to play this game with me. We can just start going through the players one at a time, so we see what we got going here. It's a 3v3, like I said, 15 minutes peacetime, 5k, no capture and no artillery. But we can start off first with Milkman as red as the top right, playing as Switzerland. And then we go on to Rubin Almas in our team as well, in orange, playing as Turkey. And down at the very bottom, you see me. Yours truly, Mr. Waffle Stomper, playing as Spain is actually what I'm playing as, so I don't know why it says, right, Spain here. And then we go over to our opponents. We have Snaga, first and foremost, playing as Saxony at the bottom left. His teammate, or her teammate, Yangin Var, plays as Denmark. And last but not least, we have CC Combo playing as Saxony as well. So Switzerland, Turkey, and Spain versus 2 times Saxony and 1 time Denmark. Very interesting that usually it's a bit more balanced as to we have one player in our team who can't go up to 18th century, and usually the game balances that out a little bit, but this wasn't the case. But hopefully it will still go well. We can just start off the game right away. Another fun little anecdote, Snaga. I don't know if you've watched any of my Divide and Conquer gameplays. Basically a total war with the Lord of the Rings mod. But in that game, Snaga are the weakest goblins of the evil factions. So a little bit of a crossover there. Fun stuff. Let's just get the game going. Okay. Milkman starts off 1 town hall, 1 mill. I guess that's pretty basic stuff. Actually take a look at how what his build order is here. I'm keen to see that. So 1 town hall, straight up to storehouse, 1 mill, and then when that one's finished, straight off to market, I guess. Yes. So that's a little bit different. I go town hall, storehouse, blacksmith, and then the mill, so that they can start going for the market right away, so we minimize idle time with the peasants. But if we look at Rubin Almas, orange player here, he decided to put his town halls, he spreads out his infrastructure a lot more. Of course, that's going to cause a lot of downtime, a lot of walking around for the peasants. The first storehouse is way off as well. A lot closer to wood production, though. So in that sense, I guess it was in that sense, I guess it was a good strategy. It's right away going for the bazaar, but also a little bit later, you can see Milkman is already going up to his 3rd town hall. If we go to our adversaries, trying to figure out how to jump between, you can see the color around the minimap, which player I've selected. So CC Combo, 2 town halls and market, and already up with the 2 barracks. And I will just lower the sound of my mic a little bit, or my headphones a little bit. Also, pretty quick at finding his gold mines, started building on a lot of the mines already. Go down to Yangin Var, Denmark, 2 town halls, 2 barracks, very neatly packed construction. This is great, and that storehouse positioning is actually pretty amazing as well, I must say. So great work starting off from Yangin Var. If we go down to Snaga, also 2 town halls, not as neatly packed with his positioning. Usually you want to get your town halls like right next to the farm, so they don't need to walk that far. before they can start harvesting. But that that positioning of the stone house is really good. Although usually you don't want to start going for wood and stone quite this fast or quite this early. You want to go for food and gold right off, so we can start trading or start upgrading the gold mines, and also start working on the more important upgrades. But also he's working with a pikeman, so he's going with a melee based build. Interesting stuff. If we go over to me, already third town hall barracks. I'm trying to keep it a bit more neat here, but the design of the town halls make it not quite couldn't quite fit the town hall in there, which really bugged me out when I played this game. But I have also started going on some wood production as well, basically because I want to go up to the academy. So I kind of go against my own advice there. I should rather keep having these ones on food and gold, or food, so that I can upgrade the gold mines and then basically trade for it. But now I was able to get the academy up and running, so I can get the food upgrade and also the wood cutting upgrade. And oh, he spread out the third town hall even more. Maybe there's some method to that madness, because he does put them very close to stone excavation points. And the town halls, I think, you drop off the resources at the very top right corner or something like that. So they don't need to walk around this way to drop the resources, but they can drop them off right there. So in that sense, it actually makes a little bit of sense to put them right there. Righto. Milkman has found all of his 4 gold mines, started building on that. That was actually one thing that I was very fortunate about. You can see the positioning of my gold mines. I was able to build on them quite quickly. It's only the 4th one that was a bit off, but of course we also have full visibility. All of us have full visibility right off the bat, so we already see exactly where all of our mines are. If we look at the points, Milkman is doing great. All of us are basically doing pretty great. Our opponents, Young Invar, is falling behind a little bit. He's still only on 2 town halls. Oh, and he hasn't gotten his market up yet, so he hasn't started to trade. And yellow is 4. Okay. Oh, I actually think I kind of understand the logic now. Milkman is number 1, Snag is number 2, I am number 3, so we follow first, second. Okay, I think I got this. What's 6 then? Green. Okay, whatever. So he's working on this market. Bit slow there. Still on 2 town halls. And same thing goes for Snaga. Still on 2 town halls. He is working on his first stable though, so that's great. Hasn't gotten the wood cutting upgrade yet though. And that's why you want to put a lot of peasants on food and gold in the beginning. Because first you want to get the food upgrade, and then you need food to get the wood cutting efficiency upgrade. Is he gonna get that now though? Who knows? Because then when you get the wood cutting upgrade, then you can start sending a lot of peasants from food to wood, and you can start really getting your stables up and running. And also, I'm sorry beforehand if I start mislabeling things, trying to do several things at once here. CC Combo is already working on his Diplo Center, got that up and running. Is he starting to recruit right away from it? Doesn't seem like it quite yet. Me and Milkman was actually in-game chatting via Discord when we played this game, so we were able to discuss strategies throughout the whole game, and that is a huge advantage to be able to have, to just communicate with your teammates. Although we weren't able to communicate with Rubin at all in the chat, unfortunately. But if you have a chance to in-game talk with your teammates, you always should. And he's working on his... There we go. And he's working on his Diplo Center right now as well. One thing, I haven't started building my Diplo Center yet, and that's because I wanted to prioritize the second stable first. And that's one thing that Milkman said that was pretty, that I thought was a really good advice. That when you got the Diplo Center up and running, first of all, it cost a lot of resources to build it that you could put into the second stable. And also, as soon as you start recruiting, of course, your gold production is going to plummet, because both in recruitment and in upkeep, the Diplo Center units, of course, cost a lot of gold. CC Combo is going with the round shears, pretty basic stuff, and also with a musketeer line right there. Still 1 stable. There we go. Still only 1 stable, and he is going with the dragoons, and also started building a palisade. This is pretty interesting, because playing with no capture basically means that the only risk that you're running with being harassed is them basically killing your peasants. They can't capture any mines, they can't capture any neutral buildings or anything like that. So that's why most of us aren't really building any palisades quite yet. Snaga is still only down on his 2 town halls. How's it going for Yanginvar? Still only 2 town halls. I do like the design of the Danish town halls. The same with the Bavarian ones. It makes it pretty easy to structurally position. And also he's working on, it looks like, he is working on both the artillery depot and cathedral. So something's telling me that he's going to want to go up to the 18th century pretty quickly. And Snaga has done the same thing. I wonder if he hasn't gone up to the 18th century yet, but he got all the buildings. And it looks like he's also going for 30k food, 5,000 gold, 2,000 coal. It looks like he might be going for a really fast 18th century time, even without a 3rd town hall. Maybe there's some strategy to that as well. He traded away some of his gold. Interesting. I got the Siege Cossacks up and running first, just in case we were to do some harassments or I needed to counter some harassment or something like that. Yanginvar is also starting to build up a palisade here, just to, I guess, shield himself a little bit from harassment. And if we go to Rubin Elmas as Turkey, I think that's interesting for me to look at the non-European factions, or Turkey, Algeria, the ones that I know that I'm very horrible at playing, so I kind of want to see what their build orders are and what their army priorities are. So he's going for 1 Turkish archer in Infinity, and also Janissaries. I'm most likely going to just call them muskets later. So he's going for a bit of a balanced army there. One thing that's good is Scotland, Algeria, and Turkey. I think all of those 3 factions have archers, which are, they don't cost coal when they shoot. I don't know if they cost iron though, but I know that they don't cost coal. And also they have a very, very good range. So they can outreach muskets in firing, a lot of the muskets at least. I don't know if they can outrange all of them, which means that they have a very good, like, harassing advantage there compared to musketeers. And Snaga, interesting. He's going, looks like Reiters, right? Yeah. So he's up to 18th century. That's actually a pretty quick time. I don't think I've ever been up to the 18th century in under 15 minutes, especially not with only 2 town halls, because he's still only down on 2 town halls. Think the storehouse could be better positioned, but I don't want to really go there. I know I make so many mistakes myself. And hasn't started recruiting from the Diplo Center yet, but he already 18th century barrack. With 1 minute left of peacetime, he's up with the 18th century barrack. Maybe that's why he's going with melee only, if that is some kind of a logic there. One thing that might be interesting to note is when it goes to upgrading your troops, if you do the usual build with 17th century musketeers and also round shears, you won't have to upgrade the round shears. And the range units, you only need to upgrade the damage on them. So you don't need to upgrade the shield level there. So you can save some resources, which is what I am going to do. I've already maxed out that. I don't touch the shield, because basically the shield only protects against melee damage. So I'm hoping that the round shears will kind of soak up the melee that the opponent has, while I just keep shooting them down. I'm pop capped like hell right now. Working on the dwellings though, so I'm starting to get a little bit better at that. I do try to build the dwellings as close as possible to the peasants that I used to build them. That's why I just make rings around the stone excavation points. And these guys, I guess they're just going for a little walk. And completely missed that, but CC Combo is sending some Siege Cossacks up to harass Milkman. And I do recall I just warned Milkman that I saw them coming, but he was cool as a cucumber, very experienced player, to say just like, okay, the only thing they can do is kill some peasants and I'll just get more of those. So, and the Siege Cossacks from the Diplo Center, Siege Cossacks, the Cossacks from the Diplo Center are pretty weak. I don't think they have any armor or anything like that. They have like 8 damage. So they don't do that much damage unless they are really, really massed up. And of course, as well, if you get the, I guess this upgrade. Cavalry and Sword Clansmen attack +5. I don't I, I don't know if that applies to Diplo Center units. If you know, please write it down in the comments if that applies. If Academy upgrades as well apply to Diplo Center units, I think that would make a huge difference. CC Combo is stacking his formations. Pretty standard stuff. Great strategy. And also, look at how tiny he can make his camp. Where is even the line here? Can I see the line? No, I can't. But basically, he could make his camp very, very concentrated. Don't need to build, spend a lot of time to build a palisade. So he can guard himself a little bit like that. How's it going for Young Invar? Now he's got the third town hall up and running at least. So some more peasants up and running. Very, very concentrated camp. I think this is beautifully built, actually. Beautifully built infrastructure, and also massed in 2 little mills there. Great stuff. And also he keeps building on the palisade. Same thing with Snaga. So I wonder if they kind of synced in between each other, that they should make this combined palisade here. They do have some openings, of course. I think this might be one of them. Can I check that? Yes, I can check that now. So if you press Q, you can basically see all the building building areas. So that's one way to see if you have gaps in your palisade. Here, for example, no gap in the palisade. Here, gaps. One thing that's good to know. Usually, when I started playing Cossacks way back in the day, I sometimes just accidentally pressed Q and I just raged over I didn't know what it was or how to get rid of it. But now I know the strategic purpose of the Q. The peacetime is up. So now we can start attacking each other, obviously, with CC combos, little sick Cossack harassment. But who's gonna make the first, like, real aggressive move? That's what I want to know. Another thing that's interesting, you can see that CC Combo has his units in 72 formations. He hasn't put all of his units into formation, though. Only the Musketeers, sending another raiding party of Cossacks. But 72 squad formations. If we look at Milkman, he has the smallest, almost smallest, 36. 172, but most of them are 36. They are 40, and that's basically to just concentrate the group as much as possible, so you make sure that the fire is as concentrated as possible. Now another group of sick Cossacks came in, and I think I warned him about that as well. You can see that he's already sending some round shears and dragoons up and running to take care of them, but not too much stress about that because they can't capture anything. Me personally, I stress out like hell even if there's no capturing on or activated. I still stress about being harassed, so I just lose all focus and put everything into killing like 20, 30 sick Cossacks. But they are getting mowed down. I don't think they should, this round shear should have any big problems with the sick Cossacks. And also getting shot down by the Dragoons, 17th century Dragoons. Actually, I want to see, did the Milkman... Yes, he upgraded the 17th century Dragoons as well. He could go into 18th century now. Worth noting. And I'm just chilling. Still making... I'm making bigger formations, though. Much bigger formations. Most likely because I don't want to, like, micromanage a lot of smaller formations. So it's just laziness on my part that's most likely going to bite me in the behind one of these days. Playing as Spain, it's interesting because I do believe that they have slower recruitment time on the Musketeers. Let's see, 7.5. If we compare that to the regular ones, 6, yeah. So slow recruitment time, but also they are armored. They have the little breastplate there, which should also mean that they should benefit from these upgrades. Armored soldier defense and armored soldier defense. Although I haven't gotten those yet. I have gotten the harness for the cavalry though. Also in 18th century, so started working with the dragoons. So far, actually, it's been pretty peaceful. Except for Milkman, who had to deal with some of CC Combo's harassments, but we can see that Young Invar is moving out with some of his troops. A lot of Cossacks 92 to be exact, only 8 damage, no defense, 150 HP, but also most of his army actually is moving out on early aggression against Rubin Almas. So let's see how that goes for them. Rubin Almas has pretty sizable force as well. A lot of them in formation, 72 as well. Looks like it's only Milkman who went for the 36. But you can see that the range of the archers was a bit better there. And the Siege Cossacks went in, they should just melt away. And I started sending some reinforcements up here just to make sure that we traded efficiently. But I was a bit late because Rubin Almas just did a great job dealing with all of that. They were all dead before I even arrived. But if we... Oh, and here we have another action here. Milkman is shooting. The round shears are there. And, oh my god, they're just melting away, even though there are round shears. So most likely, CC Combo made some executive decisions to have the musketeers only shoot at the dragoons instead of the round shears, which means that the round shears are still going to wreak a little bit of havoc in his lines. But he wiped out a lot of Milkman's army there. He did manage to pull some of them back, but I think when I wonder if CC Combo is going to pull back, because when I saw that, I did start sending the units that I first sent to help Rubin Almas. I decided to send them up to Milkman. He does have some more troops, but just in case, I didn't really see that any threat was coming from Snaga anytime soon. He does have some 18th century musketeers, but most of them are pikemen. Hussars can be an absolute nuisance to deal with. Still only down on 2 town halls. What strategy are you working on, and why is it working so well? Like 2 18th century barracks, only 2 town halls. I got my first down, so I guess that's something, but I'm very interested in seeing this strategy. I might just take a gander by myself just to see what his build order was, because I think that's impressive. And now actually Young Invar sends Siege Cossacks down. I wonder if he's gonna attack me. I did start sending some units out to potentially block them, and also some of my own Diplo Center Cossacks just to slow them down if possible. But it looks like he might be sending them rather into Rubin Almas's base. But it looks like he has units on deck to take care of that problem. And I just sent my troops up here to help Milkman in case CC Combo started attacking, because it felt like CC Combo was the stronger one of the players, seeing as Young Invar lost most of his army against the early aggression against Rubin Almas. So he has that army good, and also he's just letting his army at the base basically take care of the Siege Cossacks. I mean, if we just look at the heavy cavalry that he has, I usually never go for the heavy Sipais as Turkey, because I don't really know that I should. But if you look at their stats, 26 plus 1, they do have a lot of armor, and so much armor against grape shot. I guess that's multi-barrel cannon or close shots from the cannons. Against bullets 4, pikes 3, so they are very heavily defended. 360, I guess, HP. And if we compare that, let's see if any of our opponents have any more Siege Cossacks. Right, we do actually have some here. So 360 HP, 20 something damage, 150 HP, 8 damage. So it takes a lot of Cossacks to take down even one of the heavy cavalry of Turkey. So they are an amazing shield and also deal a lot of damage as well. So now they are pushing forward to some early aggression against Young Invar. Now that we've started to see some action, I'm not looking too much into the build order of the different players. I'm just trying to follow the action. CC Combo sending down some of his Cossacks as well, just massing up his troops, still going round shears. 3 17th century barracks now. That's actually, it's an expensive investment, because of course all of the building costs scale, so it becomes more expensive with every building that you get. So we might rather want to put the money into an 18th century barrack, unless the 18th century barracks become ridiculously expensive. But here we go with some attacking from the back, but they barely even reached that army. They got shot down so quickly, and you can see that they also melted away the palisade very, very easily. So now we have a little bit of an opening here. And Snaga also sent his Hussars up here to help. He doesn't send any of his pikes yet, though. Look at that. Square formations. I love it. I love seeing these things. That's not like completely meta, just putting everything into like line formations, but using some of the other formations. It's so much fun to see. Although I don't really know the efficiency of putting it into a square formation compared to a line formation. But I mean, he was the first one up to the 18th century, so there is method to his madness. And he's going with dragoons from the Diplo Center. That's an investment for sure. But you must keep in mind that the mercenary units, I think, they cost depend on how many you have on the field, not how many you recruited like throughout the whole game. So if you're going with the 18th century or 18th century dragoons mercenaries from the Diplo Center, just make sure that you don't keep them around for too long, because that's gonna be expensive in gold upkeep. Look at me, still defending over there. Also sending some reinforcements up because I didn't see any aggression from Snaga. So what do I actually send up? I send up a lot of my dragoons, send up some round shears. Don't I send any musketeers his way? It appears that I do not. Where are my musketeers? 120, I mean, they're slow to train, but not that freaking slow. But okay. Yeah, the dragoons just went in and died. They didn't even get a shot off. But that's at least going to save Snaga some gold, I guess. Now we can see that CC Combo comes down with even more reinforcements. He sent basically all of his 17th century dragoons. Maybe not all of them, but a gosh darn big amount of them. Yeah, like 160? Yes, so a big group of 17th century dragoons coming down. And I think my plan here was to potentially intercept them, but then they ran into the base, so I don't really need my troops in that angle anymore. We can just try to keep this little choke point. And here is what I was talking about with the range. I mean, they can shoot them down before their musketeers even get, or their muskets, dragoons, whatever, even get a shot off. But then I started being a little bit too happy on the trigger. I had to pull back though. But look at that range, just sniping down units. Uncontested. It's beautiful. Why don't I ever go for the Turkish archers? Usually I just think that, oh, they don't deal enough damage, they are weak, or they are a bad defense or whatever. Here he started sending out troops trying to stop that onslaught. I managed to intercept them though. Pat on the back. Great work on my behalf, on my end. And also just shooting down the dragoons. This, when we mass up the formations like this and stack them, it's impossible to start to attack them or start shooting them down. Also, I don't really know how the palisade affects the range, because it feels like the like Rubin Almas's muskets even had better range than Yanginvar's. But he had to pull back a lot of his troops, reforming. Good strategy enough. No reason just sending individual units to their death. Better to just pull back a little bit and try to regroup. But now Snaga sends a lot of his pikes and also his hussars up to attack Rubin in the back. What am I doing here? I should move in and try to intercept them and try to help. Now, a little bit too late. I saw that. Probably I was focusing on something like economy or something stupid like that. And I don't know why my dragoons aren't shooting. Now some of them are starting to shoot, but the pikes are dead. And now Yanginvar came in as well. A little bit of an uncoordinated pincer maneuver there. And also it looks like a lot of his troops aren't shooting either, out of range. But this is also a reason why it's important. See, they started to put fire, set fire to the coal mine. And when we have no capturing allowed, we need factions that easily destroy buildings, like the Turkish archers, for example. Otherwise, we need to either go with mercenary dragoons or archers, or we need to spend a lot of gold and resources into upgrading the 18th century grenadiers in the barracks. Because when they are maxed out damage-wise, the grenadiers, they are throwing nukes. They destroy everything super easy. But now it looks like the Turkish archers actually have that role for us, and they are shooting down peasants and anything they can find in this little group. Now they are moving up, and I'm just holding down here just to see, just to block Rubin Almas's back from Snaga. He doesn't really move anything out. It looks like he has most of his army up on this hill, actually. A lot of them are pikemen. A lot of them are pikemen out of formation. But also he does have some 18th century musketeers. 196 plus 72. So they are going to pack a punch as well, for sure. they're not going to be as strong in firepower compared to the 18th century musketeers of Switzerland, because 18th century musketeers without a bayonet, usually they get firepower upgrades, and so they become a lot more efficient in shooting instead. Usually a bit slower to produce, I think, as well, but if you can buy yourself enough time to get a lot of them, then it's basically a non-factor, non-issue, because they will just be shooting down anything in their path. And we are going for yet another attack on CC combo here. All of this concentrated fire is starting to pull back a little bit, but that's not going to be very good, because the Dragoons are going to catch up to the slower units and basically shoot them down uncontested. And I'm trying to send some units down to attack from the side here. Just see if I can get their attention away from the main battery, which is Milkman's army, of course. So they ooh. CC Combo just suicided a lot of his troops because we can't reach that far. Yeah, looks like CC Combo has actually GG'd out of this game. CC Combo was actually a really, really good player, in my opinion. I mean, he did get a lot of early aggression. He did get a lot of early pushes on. So that was, of course, great. And also he put up a lot of fight. Actually wiped out Milkman's army once. And now I'm doing something that you should never do, which is attack an army on a hill. Because on a hill, range units get hill advantage or range advantage, so they can shoot your units down before you can even get a shot off, basically. So this is a really bad strategy on my end, and wasting my army like this, unfortunately, it kind of leaves Rubin Almaz's army out to dry. So maybe I thought I was doing a good thing, but what I really did was give Snaga and Yanginvar an opportunity to wipe out the army that Rubin Almaz has in Yanginvar's base. Although, if we go over back to Rubin Almaz's base, he is in no lack of troops. He has a massive army still here that he hasn't sent up to the forefront, to the front, basically. So I think he's okay with wasting these ones, because he's just gonna recruit more. And look at that heavy cavalry go. Now they start to die eventually, just being bayoneted and piked down, but they deal a lot of damage, those things. I've been so blissfully... I've been so blessed in this game with not having to deal at all with any aggression. I've just been assisting my teammates in any way I can, basically. And in some cases, I did a pretty decent job. In other cases, I did a not so good job, like this, for example. But it happened. Let's just move on, I guess. Snaga is moving back with his army. Yanginvar is starting to rebuild. Has a lot of troops already in his base. Let's see, actually... looked like he has a lot of idle peasants, and I wasn't wrong. 100 idle peasants. That's quite a bit. And also, yeah, Rubin Almaz is capturing all of the CC Combo's mines. I mean, why not? They can't capture them. They have to destroy them somehow. So that's just free money, free real estate. And this one thing, when you move a stacked group of formations like this, you usually... what I usually do is just move them on the regular map, and that spreads them out. Like, you don't stack them anymore usually in that case. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So what you want to try to do is navigate them rather on the minimap. So right click on the minimap where you want them to go. The problem is that you can't really set the direction they're going to look. Sorry, I have a sneeze. Boo! Sneeze locked and loaded, but I managed to dodge that bad boy. So the problem is that you might not be able to set the direction they are going to look in. So that can lead to wonky positioning like this, and then you might have to just reposition each individual formation anyway. So if you have a tip on how to set direction of your formations, please let me know, because that is something I desperately need to learn. And I'm pop-capped at 2.6k. Snaga is moving up to claim this hill. Very smart move, and also putting his dragoons up on the edge here so they have the... so they can start shooting as early as possible. And I did put myself up on this hill to give myself a range advantage, but I do think that a bigger hill kind of wins over my smaller hill. Is this a mountain rather than a hill? Who knows? But I do think that's the case. So the higher up you are, the bigger range you're going to get. Here we also saw that I started moving back my troops from Yanginvar's wall. what I was planning to do was just move my troops up to start harassing down the palisade, maybe attack in from behind. Then I forgot that they were there, and they started getting shot down by, it looks like, grenadiers. Mercenary grenadiers. Well, look at that. Mercenary grenadiers. And they also have 18th century pikemen. Real, like, last ditch unit to make. Also looks like he's making them on the Infinity. And now, when no one's really attacking him, I wouldn't really recommend that, because pikemen, they are very fast to train, so they will swiftly, like, fill up your population space. And when you're not being attacked, I would prefer something with a bit more punch, because they have no armor, really. Oh, they have some armor. 85 HP, very low HP, 11 damage, so they are not that much better than the Cossacks, just slower, and then they have some protection against pikes, swords, and arrows. That's at least good against the Turkish archers. But they're, like I said, they're just going to fill up the population space and not really give that much back in return. So it would be better for Yanginvar to just go full out on 18th century musketeers, because they also have pikes. Or they also have, like, bayonets, so they can fight in melee, but they are a lot more efficient in damage than the 18th century pikemen are. Also running out of gold, my man. So that should mean that, yeah, it sounds like some of his mercenaries actually started to mutiny. Love it when that happens. Not to me, but when it happens to my opponents. And now I saw that Snaga is starting to send out some of his dragoons, so I just started sending my troops into a better formation to kind of wedge him in around the hill. So if he wants to come down, he needs to face me when I have a hill advantage. And also I started sending some smaller groups up to just remove as much as possible of the area in which he can attack me in. So I just started to box him in here, and he really should put his units into formations, because that gives them defense and offensive bonuses. Milkman doesn't have any threats anymore, so now he's starting to move his arm. Ooh, actually it looks like he built on all the mines instead of Rubin Almas. Don't know if they communicated that somehow, but it happened. Happy for Milkman. And he's moving his giant army down and joining it with Rubin Almas, and this might be the last of Yanginvar here. I don't think he has the units to defend against that, and not even if Snaga sends his units up. And also, with so many of his troops, imagine if all of these were 18th century musketeers instead. It would be so much more efficient than just a hell of a lot of pikemen, who are not even an effective meat shield to begin with. Should be much better to just go with like round shears here, and then musketeers instead of the grenadiers. So that would be a strategy, but it's always easy to, like, look at a game afterwards and say, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But when you're in the thick of it, man, my multitasking abilities are at a damn near zero. Which you might have noticed when I try to look at this and speak at the same time, and also when I play and record with commentary. It's always very difficult, but I think it should train me somehow. Milkman came in from the northern side, and Rubin Almas from the southern side, or eastern side, whatever you want to call it. So now they're going to have a bit of a pincer maneuver here, wiping out a lot of Yanginvar's army, but now Snaga comes with a little pincer maneuver of himself. And that's Hussars, which are most likely going to be cut down easily by the heavy cavalry of Turkey. But Milkman is moving in. I don't think Yanginvar has a lot left in the tank, to be honest. But I do hope that he holds on and keep putting up a fight. Me down here just chilling, wedging in Snaga, not really doing anything. I also sent the reinforcements that I had at Milkman's base at the beginning. I'm sending those down to my base as well with a massive. Now they turn to orange again. Oh no, it's the yellow dot on the red that makes it look like orange. Got it. So if I go to Milkman, then it's red. Got it. So that's one confusion out of the way. Snaga has 150 idle peasants. You could put them on stone. Put them on stone. Sell the stone. Make mad money. Look at that. 91 just standing. Put them on stone, my man. You have so many good stone excavation points. You could just sell that to gold, get more military buildings up and running, and now, ooh, I almost thought that I was gonna make another stupid mistake. But now we can see the Milkman coming in from the northern side of this hill. So I was just thinking, F it. We have this team spirit, me and Milkman, talking through on the Discord and whatnot. So I'm just sending my troops in, basically to die. I did tell you never to attack a hill, and I've done it at least twice in this game alone. But I guess don't attack a hill unless you have troops to spare, which I do, because I haven't really been in any major conflicts in this game so far. So I've just been able to build and build and build and build. 3,000 pop space, 2.4 right now, so most likely I've lost a couple of hundred here. But we managed to take that hill quite effectively. And Yanginvar hasn't given up yet, still producing troops. But Snaga doesn't have that much left in the tank. Now we wiped out his army, he doesn't really have anything left. Still making 18th century musketeers. Now, if I was him, I mean, it's too late. We are way too, have way too big of an army. And look, Milkman just taking the hill right away. Great job. But just set the spawning point here in the back. Because peasants, it's okay that they can die. We can't really destroy anything. We don't have any grenadiers in our armies, and we don't have the Turkish archers. So just reposition your armies back here and set the spawning points back here so you can clump them up a bit. That will give you a much better chance at least killing more of my units, as I just walk in like an idiot. But we did manage to kill them, and it looks like Yanginvar has given up. He is exploding all of his, most of his buildings. And it looks like we are not attacking anyone anymore. So this is where I am guessing that our opponents called a GG and we claimed the victory. This game was a lot of fun to play for me, and not only because I wasn't attacked, so I could do pretty much whatever I wanted, but it's always so much fun when you're able to communicate in-game with your teammates, so you can start setting up these strategies and like, okay, you go from the northern side, and then I'll come in a pincher in the side, or from the south. It's so much more fun when you are able to coordinate like that, so I really recommend it to talk to your team players, or also to just add them on Discord or whatever, if you know that you have players that you're already regularly playing with, so you can communicate with them. So this was great. Let's just look at, oh, we haven't looked that much at my base, but not too much to tell. A lot of dwellings, working on my 5th 18th century barrack. Also had 3 17th century barracks, basically because the empty 18th century barracks became so expensive that, like, it wasn't that much to just smack down another third or a third 17th century barrack and just get more of those juicy muskets up and running. And I mean, Rubin Almas, I was a bit skeptical in the beginning when you set the town halls out so wide, but I mean, you did a great job this game. Really great job. So we can just jump in and look at the statistics. First of all, population and upgrades. When did Snaga actually go to the... Oh, damn! He went to the 18th century before I even got the freaking harness, right? There, I got the harness, so he was quick into the 18th century. So he did something right in that sense. Then we can also, like, was it the correct choice to go for full-out melee, a lot of pikemen? Probably not. But at least he had a very fast 18th century time, and no one can take that away from him. If we look at the population here, we had a lot of dips from a lot of the different factions. Not from Rubin Almas, though. He did a steady climb. The same thing with me. That because I was never attacked, and Rubin Almas, he did have a little bit of a dip here when I attacked that hill, lost my army in his base, and he also lost his army. But I mean, he recuperated so freaking quickly, and then stagnated population-wise right here. Interesting. Wonder how that happened, because I did the same thing. And our opponents, they basically followed a lot of the same, like, dips. Here was Milkman's first encounter against CC Combo when he lost a lot of his army, I'm guessing. But also you can see that Yanginvar lost a lot of troops without Rubin Almas losing any troops. And that was just all of these really one-sided encounters when we just sniped down his army. The great stuff. And then here, CC Combo fell off a cliff. And Snaga just, he did get these losses, but he also kept fighting until everything went to shit for him, of course. I don't know if there's anything much fun to say about the upgrades. You can see a lot of, like, a lot of common things here that we have in common. Basic upgrades in the beginning, with the wood cutting efficiency upgrades, etc., etc. And also one thing that's important to get early is the rate of fire upgrades for your musketeers, because the firepower that stacks on the upgrades that you have in the 17th century barracks or in the barracks. I think that's the case. That's what it used to be like, at least. But the rate of fire, you don't really need to worry. So you can get them as soon as possible, and then you get the firepower upgrade when you're already maxed out the firepower upgrades in the barracks and in the stables. So that's interesting stuff. I was pretty quick on both of mine, actually. Great stuff, great stuff. And also, I love this upgrade with the stone excavation. You can see the Milkman was pretty late on that one, but I love building me a huge stone economy, so that's why I went for that one. And if we go to the next one, score dynamics, I think they should probably follow a similar pattern, right? I just climbed and climbed and climbed and climbed until I started losing some troops, and then I climbed a little bit more. But Milkman, frick, he won at the end with the scores. And Younginvar stagnated, or not Younginvar, but Ruben Almas stagnated a lot on his points. Don't really know why that happens, because his population and upgrades shot a lot, but probably because he can't get to the 18th century. So then you become a bit locked in how high up you can actually get. Interesting stuff, interesting stuff. I hope you enjoyed watching it as well, and a huge thank you again to Milkman for agreeing to play with me on this one. I had a blast playing it, and I learned a lot. Even before the game started, I've already gotten some tips and tricks from him, so I appreciate that a ton. So that's that. Thank you for watching, have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.
The Weird Bubble.